Good evening, I'm Faye Barker. Dame Tessa Jowell, the politician who led the bid for the London Olympics, has died at the age of 70. In tributes paid to her today, Lord Sebastian Coe, who worked with her on the 2012 Games, said that without her, it would not have happened. Our political correspondent Simon Harris looks back.
Even before her final speech in Parliament, Baroness Jowell could boast a remarkable political career. No one who knew her doubted the steely determination behind the warmth and kindness. So it was little surprise she devoted her final few months to yet another campaign. This time to allow brain cancer patients like her to get faster access to experimental treatment.
In the end, what gives a life meaning is not only how it is lived, but how it draws to a close. I hope that this debate will give hope to other cancer patients like me.
Tessa Jowell's involvement in London politics began in the 1970s. Her first attempt to become an MP in Ilford 40 years ago wasn't successful. But in 1992 she was elected to represent Dulwich and West Norwood.
Tessa is remembered with enormous love and gratitude and fondness in this constituency and leaves a tremendous legacy for which we're all very, very grateful.
Even after retiring as an MP after 23 years, she still had political ambitions. She was the front runner to be Labour's candidate for mayor in 2016 and enlisted the help of friends from Brixton Soup Kitchen to launch her campaign.
She was very much involved in small community groups and trying to make change in the community.
When Sadiq Khan defeated her to become the Labour candidate, it was a bitter disappointment. But when he asked her to help him launch his manifesto, she didn't hesitate.
She was just the most remarkable woman, the warmest person you could ever meet and always the most optimistic at every time.
When Tony Blair made her Culture Secretary, Tessa Jowell got the opportunity to secure arguably her greatest legacy. She cajoled cabinet colleagues into backing the idea of a bid for the London Olympics. London faced formidable rivals, not least Paris, but Tessa Jowell was convinced. Today, the London Olympics chairman, Lord Coe, summed up her contribution, saying, without Tessa, there would have been no London 2012. Simon Harris, ITV News.
Since her death on Sunday, tributes have continued to Tessa Jowell from all sides of politics. Tonight, our monthly political programme, The Late Debate, our political correspondent Simon Harris will discuss her legacy with two of her close friends. He's in the studio at Westminster to explain more. Simon.
Nina, Tessa Jowell was a prominent figure in London politics for more than 4 decades. On The Late Debate tonight, we'll be remembering Baroness Jowell in the company of two peers who knew her well. Lord Charlie Falconer is the one-time Minister for the Millennium Dome, who was sitting next to her when she made that emotional final speech in the House of Lords. And Baroness Tanni Grey-Thompson, one of our greatest Paralympians, who was a key member of London's bid team for the 2012 Games. A member of the London Legacy Development Corporation, struggling to get a commercial sponsor for the naming rights of the stadium. How about the Tessa Jowell Stadium?
That would be very nice, actually. I think there'd be a huge amount of support for that because anybody involved in sport recognises what she did.
We'll also be reflecting on the local elections in London with a Labour and a Conservative MP and newly elected councillor from the Green Party. That's The Late Debate on ITV at 11:15.
Simon, thank you. Good evening from Windsor. In less than 48 hours, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will marry here at St George's Chapel in Windsor Castle. Today, the royal couple arrived after a full dress rehearsal of the procession. But while the public preparations continue, as has been the case all week, it has been a scramble behind the scenes. This morning, Meghan Markle confirmed her father Thomas will not be going to her wedding because of his health. The question of who will walk her down the aisle still unanswered. Simon Harris has the latest.
There was no fanfare or ceremony, just a police escort as Prince Harry and his bride-to-be arrived at Windsor Castle. The low-key entrance seemed in keeping with the mood after Meghan Markle spoke of her sadness as she confirmed her father won't walk her down the aisle. The announcement about Mr Markle came in a short statement from his daughter released by Kensington Palace. She said, "Sadly, my father will not be attending our wedding. I have always cared for my father and hope he can be given the space he needs to focus on his health." Much of what's planned for Saturday will not be affected by Mr Markle's decision. In Windsor today, 250 military personnel rehearsed their moves as royal watchers pored over every word of Miss Markle's statement.
I thought it was a little bit unusual, actually, as for a daughter that's very concerned about her father, to say that she cares for him, I thought was perhaps the wrong word. I would have liked to have seen something a little bit more loving, like, I love my father.
But most die-hard royal fans, the ones who record every move on their mobiles, shared the sense of sadness that a bride on her special day won't have her father at her side.
We're all saying we're very surprised that he hasn't come earlier and that he'll get to know the family before the wedding. But yes, we're all a bit sad about it, really.
I think it's a shame, but I'm sure she's a very strong character, and I think she'll, be a wonderful bride, and she'll get over that.
There's nothing one can do about it. The wedding will go on, and we just wish them every happiness.
Prince Harry personally chose the regiments taking part in the procession. They include the Household Cavalry. He served in the regiment in Afghanistan. Ceremonial parades are a speciality.
First and foremost, we're an operational regiment, but in our ceremonial role, we have parades throughout the year, and every single one of those parades, whether we've done them for 10 years or one, we will rehearse over and over again to make sure we're inch perfect. That is what we are world famous for.
Also on parade in her hometown, Caroline Wagstaff, showing off her homemade cardboard crown.
I've only done it once before, which was the walkabout for the Queen's birthday a few years ago. And the Queen did actually see me wearing my crown. She smiled and asked and said, had I made it?
For those hoping to see the genuine article, the best opportunity will be when the Prince and his new Princess make their first journey as a married couple in a horse-drawn carriage. Simon Harris, ITV News, Windsor.
Savour every moment, because we won't see a royal wedding like this for a generation. The world is watching Windsor, and Windsor is ready. So too, after a bumpy week, are those wedding plans. Confirmation today, Prince Charles will walk his son's bride-to-be down the aisle here at St George's Chapel. And then the last half hour, we've seen the man of the moment, Prince Harry. He's been meeting fans with his best man and brother by his side. Here's our correspondent, Simon Harris.
It's a wedding trend afforded very few bridegrooms a royal walkabout. But Prince William did it on the eve of his marriage, and a short time ago, Prince Harry followed in his footsteps. The two royals emerged from Windsor Castle to give the crowd what it was waiting for. When you're 76 years old, you're entitled to a lie-in, even if it's on the pavement. This is Carleen Quirke's 8th royal wedding. Her formula for securing a prime spot is to pitch a tent, even if that means a run-in with the authorities.
I had it up last night and I was told to take it down, and then the county council came and said to me, no, you can leave it up tonight.
Royal weddings attract a certain crowd. Outside the castle walls, Windsor was bustling with well-wishers, attention seekers and armed police. The atmosphere inside the castle is for the royals to know and for us to guess. But we did get one snippet of information. Yesterday, Meghan Markle ended days of speculation and confusion when she announced her father would not walk her down the aisle. Today, Prince Charles stepped in. In a statement, Kensington Palace said, "The Prince of Wales is pleased to welcome Miss Markle to the royal family in this way." It's a familiar walk for the Prince. He escorted his own bride in the same chapel at the blessing of their marriage. Like most of us, Windsor's MP was trying to keep up with the changes.
I hadn't picked up that news. It's changing every moment. I had thought it was going to be her mother, but I think that's very fitting. And I think I can just imagine it. And I would imagine the Prince is delighted. And I think, again, it just kind of is a proper welcome to the royal family, isn't it?
Windsor knows how to dress for royal occasions. They've been happening here for hundreds of years. This weekend, tens of thousands of people are expected to line the streets. To make sure everything goes smoothly, the council has recruited more than 100 so-called ambassadors, including students from a local college who've been given first aid training and more.
We've also had some counter-terrorism training, so things to look out for and then how to report that up.
So if we spot something and we've got the relationship with the people in the crowd where we're stationed, we'll be able to talk to them and help explain what is happening.
A royal wedding is also a giant marketing opportunity. Great Western Railway renamed its station for the weekend. This will be one of the busiest gateways to the town.
We've put a queuing system in place at Slough with lots of entertainments and giveaways to keep people happy whilst they're waiting for the train to get to Windsor.
And for those with a phobia of queues, there is of course another way to see it all happen, thanks to wall-to-wall TV coverage across the country and around the globe. Simon Harris, ITV News, Windsor.